All right, everyone. The war on homeschooling children unfortunately continues. Personally, I think that it should be promoted. The school system in the United States, is fundamentally broken. I think that if a parent is willing to homeschool their children and their children are showing basic aptitude, they should actually be paid the same as teachers. That is effectively a full-time job. As anyone who has attempted to raise a child would know, takes a little bit of effort. Some people apparently don't understand this, and so the state of Illinois has decided, well, if you're going to homeschool your child, because fundamentally our educational system is a pile of shit, you're going to have to submit regular reports. You're going to have random yeah, examinations of your home. You're going to have to follow a bunch of regulations, and we're going to charge you. Hey, we're going to take money from you for doing what teachers already do, for the privilege of homeschooling. And it's quite clear why they're doing this. There is a stereotype in the United States that people that homeschool tend to be of better means. This is not always actually the case. It's not actually the case. In some cases, people are simply like, hey, why would I want to send my kid to this school which sucks when I can probably teach them better myself? For example, I am capable of teaching my child and others around me various skills. I may not be the best at math or something like that, but after editing 400 books, I think I'm probably qualified to teach English. I love science, and so, yeah, I mean, I can compensate. I can't homeschool completely. There'd have to be a goddamn math tutor, I suppose, because, screw that stuff. But other than that, I'm capable of homeschooling. I'm going to be punished by the government as a result of this. The more intelligent you are, the more apparently you get punished. Just look at Elon Musk, for example. Richest man in the world, most successful immigrant to the United States, but he happens to have the wrong color of skin, of course, so we don't talk about that. What we should do is we should punish him. Yes, let's literally pass laws to try to outlaw whatever the hell he wants to do. Makes a whole lot of sense. This is the way Congress works. The war on homeschooling has been going on for a very long time, and there's a reason for that. The government wants your kids in government-run schools so it can give you government messaging. That's the only reason why they punish homeschoolers. It used to be, this is 60, 70 years ago, it used to be that the idea of teaching your kids at home, whether, just teaching them something random, or teaching them, more fully, like actual homeschooling, it was encouraged. It was considered a good thing. It was considered American, as opposed to the slab block housing and so forth in like the Soviet Union. So there was a contrast. You had, on one hand, slab brutalismus, as the Dutch would call it, and very, very regimented, very, very strict hierarchical schooling. In the United States, a lot of the schooling happened at home. It happened in a church, small town schools and stuff like that. It was very, very much almost an offshoot of the sort of the council culture, if you will. That is that, especially in New England, I know that this is still a thing here to an extent, the community was directly involved with the actual schooling. And so it takes a village, so to speak. You've heard that old saying before. People would learn from neighbors, people would learn from the local pastor or priest or whatever, and many of these children were homeschooled, and it worked. Why do you think our educational attainment at the time was literally number one in the world? Now it's something like number 30 or some insane number like that. We have all the money in the world. We do have a highly skilled population. We do have the attainment necessary to be number one in education, but we're literally punishing people for actually taking advantage of those skills. It's exactly what's happening here. Illinois has decided, and it'll probably pass because Illinois is no longer a serious state at all. They have decided that if you homeschool, you should be literally abused by the government for doing so. Why? May I ask that one single word question? Why? What exactly is the purpose behind doing so? The purpose can't be to reduce to increase educational attainment. The idea that the average homeschooling parent is deficient in some way, that doesn't often seem to be actually what's happening. The only reason, therefore, that I can surmise is that they're trying to abuse these parents. They're trying to keep the kids in the system by making it onerous in order for the parents to actually teach them themselves. And I can only surmise the reason for that is because they wish to indoctrinate children. Drag Queen Story Hour and Pride Month and things like that. That's the only thing that I can possibly think of. I can't think of any other reason why they would be doing this. I would think, hey, this kid is not part of the system, so our tax money is not going to pay them because we don't pay parents who act as teachers. We should, but we don't. So they're out of the system. We're not paying any money for them. We don't have to pay to send the school bus out. We don't have to pay to put them in class. We don't have to pay for their cafeteria lunch or anything like that. Why on earth, then, would the school system or the state government be against this basic proposal? Only because they want the kids there in what effectively is training for prison. That's what the average US school, unfortunately, has devolved into. If you look at schools, and I've been in many schools around many states, Texas, Florida, New England, and so forth, you'd be very, very surprised, I think, at the conditions in some of them. They literally look like jail. They look like a slightly more upkept version of jail. That's basically what you're getting. And the coursework is so dumbed down by Common Core and No Child Left Behind and things like that. I wouldn't want my child going to U.S. school. Not the average one anyway. I mean, I was spoiled. I went to Mill River, so it was quite a bit better. They actually tried. But I've been in schools in southern Texas, in Florida, and so forth. And I can tell you, yeah, you're not really learning anything there. Basically, the students go there, try to get a mercy D, and then go home to do drugs or something like that. That is literally how some students operate in this nation. It is not the same in some parts of the world. East Asia, for example, you've got a very strict hierarchical culture, but you have quality schools. Western Europe may be more decadent, but at the very least, the students are getting a decent education, and there's not a lot of abuse or anything like that going on. If you go to schools in some parts of the United States, they're decrepit. It's like the school wouldn't even be allowed to exist in goddamn Rwanda, and you're sending your kids there. And then you're telling parents, if they don't want to do that, that they're the problem. That makes a whole lot of sense. If we want a better nation, we need to promulgate more homeschooling. Because apparently parents, because their kids are the ones that are possibly going to be taking care of them 50 years down the line, actually give a damn about them. Hmm, it's interesting. As opposed to some teacher who's a member of a union that will keep them from ever being fired. Oh, you mean that they care a little bit less about the kids? Wow, what a surprise. That's about all. Peace out.